Prepare the vacuum cleaner! That mess was made to celebrate that I have now over 1,000 views on my YouTube channel. Yee. Sean and I started this whole process about 6 months ago. I never really thought about how many views it get, and I certainly never thought that I would get to 1,000. So this means a lot. Thank you very much. Now, I'm greedy for more. Not since Hanging Balls have I cracked 50 views in a single video. So if you like what you see, share, share, share! Let's see if we can hit 2,000 views before my wedding. Sean, tomorrow night I shall be attending the Cedar Crest High School Poetry Out Loud Finals. What is Poetry Out Loud? Well, I'm glad you asked.
There's a truth limits man. A truth prevents his going any further.
It's a decade-old collaboration between the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation. It is a national poetry recitation competition for high school. So Schwab and I brought it to Cedar Crest several years ago when we decided to have a friendly competition between one of his classes and one of my classes. I don't remember who won. I don't. Now almost the entire English department is involved. Almost. It starts with the classroom competition where every student picks a poem, memorizes it, and recites it in front of the class. The best performers from the classroom competition move on to the school-wide competition, which include about 200 to 300 students. There it's boiled down to the top 10 to 20 students that move on to the finals, which is what I'm going to tomorrow night. Students who move on to the finals actually have to memorize a second poem. Now, the winner from tomorrow night is going to have to memorize a third poem, and they will compete in the regional competition hosted by Millersville University. Now, the regional competition includes students who come from high schools across Lancaster, Lebanon, and Berks County. Now, a Cedar Crest student has never advanced beyond the regional competition, but I do think many of our competitors have been more than deserving. I wouldn't want to say we've been robbed. Never really underestimate the pressures and politics in a poetry recitation competition. So anyway, the winner of regionals will go on to the state competition at the governor's mansion. The state winner goes on to the national competition in D.C. It's kind of a big deal. But why do it? Why have kids memorize and recite poetry? Because it's cool. Well, first we can look at the utilitarian reasons for doing it. First, it works the memory muscle of the mind, which we too often ignore now that we've deemed any kind of rote learning an absolute evil, best avoided at all costs.
As if one by one the memories you used to harbor decided to retire to the southern hemisphere of the brain, to a remote fishing village.
Second, poetry exposes students to complex, sophisticated, elegant writing, vocabulary, and thinking. Third, it enhances their skills and confidence when it comes to public speaking. But for me, the real value of having students do poetry out loud is having them interact in a meaningful way with significant works of art. Poetry out loud is about so much more than memorization, because to succeed at it, to do it well, you must do more than simply recite a poem verbatim. That poem is someone else's vision, it's their thoughts and their feelings, and your job is to read that poem, understand it, internalize it, and then bring it to life for others.
I hoarded secret syllables I read until my tongue, mi lengua, learned to run where his stumbled. And still the heart was one.
Poetry out loud is really about understanding ourselves and others. It's about empathy, about communication, and about beauty. I don't know what's more important than those things. So Sean, every year Schwab and I choose a poem to memorize and recite to our classes, so I thought I would end this video by reciting my poem from last year, but I also wanted to extend a challenge to you, for you to choose your favorite poem, memorize it, and recite it in one of your upcoming videos. I'll be reciting The Second Coming by William Butler Yeats. Turning, and turning in a widening gyre. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming, hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight somewhere in the sands of the desert. A shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. Darkness drops again. But now, I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born. Thank you. Peace out.